Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Supergirl Season 6 review series. And today I am going to be talking about episode 15, Hope for Tomorrow, which I have just finished watching. And this episode by and large was actually pretty enjoyable. The first half was kind of a hit and miss for me, but the second half, especially towards the end, definitely made up for it, and this was certainly one of the more enjoyable episodes of the final season of Supergirl. And what we basically got at the end was kind of a little hint and a setup for the return of Lex Luthor, because he sent a package to Nixley, which was dubbed as Secret Admirer, and he gave her a battle suit. So clearly, this episode was all about setting up the final battle with Supergirl and her friends against Nixley, and it looks like Lex Luthor is going to be in Nixley's corner. So this is definitely setting up for the return of John Cryer as Lex Luthor, who, in my opinion, was just absolutely fantastic in the role. Certainly up there with Michael Rosenbaum. And it looks like for the next episode, John Cryer will be returning as Lex Luthor. So, very much looking forward to that. And as I said, the first half of this episode was a bit silly for me. Some parts were hit and miss, but the second half, especially towards the end, as I mentioned, definitely made up for it. And overall, I really enjoyed this one a lot. I thought this was one of the better episodes of Supergirl, in my opinion. So, with that all said, let's get straight into it. Let's talk about episode 15, Hope for Tomorrow. So this episode kicks off with Kelly and Alex decorating their new home for Esme to move into, and we see that John Jones is referred to as Grandpa John, which I thought was quite funny. And we see Alex is decorating Esme's new room, ready for her arrival. And then we see Kara flies in with her old stuffed toys to give to her new niece. And then we soon see Esme arrive with Kelly as everybody welcomes her to her new home. So I thought this was actually quite a touching scene. And then we see throughout the episode, Kelly and Alex try to help Esme learn to control her powers as she accidentally uses her ability when she phases through a wall, revealing that she is a Derillian that is able to mimic other aliens' powers, just like John Jones. Kelly and Alex comfort her, letting her know that she's not in any trouble, but she's clearly afraid of being sent away like before. We then see Kelly and Alex struggle with making Esme comfortable with them, and they take her to the tower so she can train with the rest of Kara's friends. We then see training with Brainy leaves Esme with a bit of a headache, though Alex encourages Esme to push through and keep trying. She copies Supergirl's powers, realizing in the process that Supergirl and Kara are one in the same, and Esme shows off just how smart she is by realizing that Supergirl is Kara, something that Alex asked the young girl to keep private. We then see Supergirl explains how her powers work and starts training Esme in superhearing. Initially, the two hear some pleasant sounds like flapping butterfly wings, but Esme ends up hearing sounds like gunshots, which scare her, causing her to get angry at Alex for pushing her too hard and storming off. Kelly later tries to comfort her and tells her that Alex is sorry for pushing her, afraid that she'll harm her new family. Esme asks to go back to the group home. Aww. We then see Kelly and Alex have a moment where Alex vents her insecurities, admitting that she's acting more like a DEO drill sergeant than a mother. She wants to know how her mother was to Kara when she crash landed on Earth, though Kelly reminds her that Kara and Eliza had their fair share of fights. The two come up with a plan to prove to Esme they won't abandon her as they realise what she's afraid of. This, in a way, was kind of like bringing everything full circle for Alex, because anybody who's seen, the earlier seasons, Alex wanted to have children and Maggie Sawyer wasn't interested in having children. So all throughout most of the show's run, Alex was so desperate to have children, and this was actually a big part of the show's story overall. So to finally see Alex becoming the mum that she's dreamed of becoming is a big moment because this is something that's been built up for quite a while. I would say going all the way back to maybe season two, which is quite a long time. So to see that finally come full circle for I thought was a nice little payoff for Alex. So Kelly and Alex take Esme to the Truth Seeker so she can copy its powers to force people that touch it to tell the truth. Esme copies its powers, and Kelly and Alex apologize for pushing their foster daughter too hard, and they promise they will never abandon her. Esme opens up about losing her old family and is scared of losing her new family. Kelly and Alex reassure her by saying that we're all heroes and we're never going to leave you, resulting in an adorable smile from Esme. Back at their home, Alex and Kelly put Esme to bed before discussing the difficulties of being parents. Reflecting on how parenting brings on their own securities, Alex also admits that parenting feels so much better than ever she could ever imagine. Kelly and Alex are clearly making efforts with Esme, and their devotion to their new family means Esme will be raised by parents that truly love her. We also see Nixie reading William's article about Supergirl and her friends, and she's upset that the article paints them as heroes, and she compares Supergirl to her father as a person who uses their powers to oppress others. Trying to get an edge, Mitch attaches the Courage Totem to the band the Super Friends use to disable her magic. This allows her limited access to her magic as well as the power of the Courage of Totem, which she intends to use to steal the Hope Totem, which, as we all remember, she failed in the last episode. Nixley successfully gains access to the Hope Totem at The Hague, revealed to be the hand of the flower statue set in a throne supposedly belonging to the Greek goddess of hope. We then see Supergirl and John Jones arrive on the scene, and the people present are incapacitated by the Courage Totem. Nixie learns the gauntlet is to inspire lasting hope, something she realizes she probably can't do without her magic. She decides to let Supergirl pass the gauntlet for her instead, though this doesn't make much sense considering the totem is only supposed to be wieldable by those who complete the gauntlet. We then see at The Hague, Supergirl takes on the gauntlet too, while Jean deals with the fallout of Nixie's use of the Courage Totem. It turns out that Nixie's attack took place during peace talks between Coulter-Maltese and Kanzia, and thanks to the Courage Totem, what should have been successful negotiations devolving into the ravings of war. Jean tries to keep the representative calm with his psychic powers, though the magic affects him, which makes him stronger by the minute. Good stuff here. Supergirl returns to the tower and finds Lena studying her mother's Grimoire again, and the two discuss about not wanting to fail again. Kara with another trial and Lena with her mother's magic. Lena encourages Kara by stating how she has a better shot at completing the Hope Gauntlet than Nixley, unfortunately playing into Nixley's hands. With the peace talks falling apart, Jean is encouraged by the US representative to use his powers to sign the peace accords through force of the Coulter-Maltese and Kanzia, but he states that it would be a gross overstep of his powers. Well said. Kara is also dealing with this as she watches the peace talks fall apart on TV. Lena asks Kara why doesn't she just destroy all of the weapons, something that we all know that Superman did in Superman 4 Quest for Peace. Yeah, that hasn't aged well with me. Kara states that she cannot interfere in human history, Jor-El reference, though Lena says nothing would inspire hope more than such a major act. The logic behind this is flawed considering most nations would likely not take kindly to Supergirl destroying all their weapons. Fair point. Lena tells Kara to try and inspire hope, not as Supergirl, but as Kara Danvers, using her status as a reporter. She goes to Catco and writes up an article about John insisting with the peace talks, but Andrea gives it back, unsurprisingly finding the hopeful piece not to be a good news story. Long gone are the days of Cat Grants, and somewhat hurtful yet encouraging words. Yeah, definitely miss Cat Grant here. Hopefully we will see her before this season ends. Now Catco is stuck with Andrea. Not good. Nixie arrives at Catco intending to take William as leverage to force Supergirl to hand over the Hope Totem. Andrea seems to only care about getting a news story while Kara discreetly changes into Supergirl. The Courage Totem incapacitates her again while Nixie gets away with William, informing Supergirl of her demands. We then see Supergirl flying frantically around, helping people in an attempt to pass the gauntlet, though none of it works. Lena successfully puts a weak magical shield on the humanity totem so Nixie cannot use it. Meanwhile, Jean returns and reveals that war is imminent between the two countries. On the edge of nuclear war, the Super Friends stop the missiles after they are launched, though it's actually Jean and Brainy who take the missiles to the sun. Well, what can I say, really? You got to do what you got to do, and even that involves throwing missiles into the sun. Supergirl arrives to take the trade off with Nixie, Hope and Humanity totems in hand. William merely gets away thanks to Lena's shield on the Humanity totem, though Nixie quickly regains control. Down but not out, William ends up being the MVP as he knocks Nixie down and takes the Courage totem from her. Mitch tries to beam all three of them out, but Supergirl grabs William and the totems just in time as Nixie once again escapes. Now in possession of all three of the discovered totems, the Super Friends debate on what to do to prevent Nixie's plan. Kara suggests destroying one of the totems so the All-Stone can never be recreated. The rest of the heroes did not know if destroying the totems would destroy the very elements they represent. Seeing the danger of a world without courage or humanity, they decide to destroy the Hope totem so they can restore hope if it comes to that. Supergirl takes the Hope totem to the sun and destroys it, something that Nixie is heartbroken over due to their original psychic link. Her dreams of the All-Stone's restoration are lost, but the sudden arrival of a gift out of a portal gives Nixie new hope. Supposedly from a secret, likely bald and egomaniacal admirer, the gift is a watch that grants Nixie a power suit of armor. As that closes the end of episode 15, and that wraps up my review. Overall, this was an enjoyable episode. The first half was kind of a bit of a hit and miss for me, but the second half, towards the end, as I said, definitely made up for it. And this was one of the better episodes of season 6, and a cool setup for Lex Luthor to return. He may return in the next episode, he may return in the series finale. Who knows? But definitely has laid the groundwork for Lex Luthor to return, and it looks like he is teaming up with Nixley, so that should be a very interesting combination. So that's going to be it for me. I am going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 15? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts about Nixley receiving a gift from a secret admirer? Is it Lex Luthor? And if so, what's his agenda? Why does he want to hook up with Nixley? And what plans do you think those two could have if they are going to work together? And also, what are your thoughts on Alex Danvers finally becoming a foster parent? Are you happy with this story arc finally getting the payoff that it deserves? And also, do you think with Alex Danvers becoming a foster parent now, what does this mean for her crime fighting career? Do you think it's a possibility that she could give it up, or do you think she might try to juggle both? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Supergirl Season 6 review series, where I am going to be talking about episode 16, which I think is going to be a good one, especially with the possibility that Lex Luthor could be returning. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, thanks for listening.